So, we have Eli versus Ace. Eli on the Great Stars, Ace on what appears to be an S-Stock. We're gonna see who starts cooking. Alright. Ready to go when you are.
Let's go! It does.
And the round is starting. Both players just a physic. Gonna be going on the poison TS against the Great Stars here. It's gonna be a bit of an uphill ladder. I actually don't know how this matchup, or if this matchup hasn't developed, I would assume that TS most likely wins that. Looks like Eli is cooking something malevolent, to say the least. Ooh, and the very good free aim there to get the early hit. Catches Ace. We're playing pretty carefully here. Oh, never mind. Ace goes in super aggressive, gets hit by some Great Stars, goes for some really unfortunate trades here. Eli goes for the rebuff, but Ace uses a bolus. Oof. Very nasty trades. Looks like Eli is applying a lot of pressure here, consistently winning the trades. Building up some status. He did get chipped there a little bit. Oh, the physic has run out for Eli's been caught already. He really wants that burst damage. He wants to force trade as often as possible, but it's not looking like Ace wants to let him do it. Chipping him with a rolling attack. It is not looking good. That's going to be a roll out. Looks like Ace is no longer trying to reapply his buff, and he's just going to try to chip him out. Using the TS as R1s. Ace tier did get procced here. Looks for the rebuff. Oh, I thought he was going to get backstabbed, but it looks like a really bad spot for Eli here. I think just one counter hit. Yep, that's going to do it.
GG!
Alright.
That was fun. I think he's doing a great job with his spacing and movement.
I wonder if Eli's going to change his strategy here. His game plan looked pretty solid, but TS just made a difference just on the moveset alone. He ended up having to take way more risks than his opponent to try to get consistent damage, right? Whereas, I mean, Thrusting Sword can really, like, turn and burn you very well, like, especially with that rolling attack. That is an absolutely insane tool. Like, even, like, a backwards roll has a bit of, like, safety to it because it's the threat of that attack coming out and stunning you. So I wonder how Eli's going to adapt here, if he wants to swap weapons, if he wants to, like, just really change the strategy. But I guess we'll see. So whenever you are ready, we can start round 2.
Round 2, let's go!
Alright. Starting with Physic as usual. Both players reapplying their buffs. It looks like they are not going to budge in terms of the strategy. See that rolling attack come out here from Ace. Looks like there are some ghost hits happening here. Ace playing super close up, really trying to chip him out with those rolling attacks, but he gets a little too greedy, gets a really bad trade, ends up getting poisoned. However, Eli does not punish his bolus at all. He just looked at him. He stood in front of him and said, yes, go ahead. Please proc your poison. Or please cure the poison. He simply did not care. Ace is running in super deep to try to get an R1 to hit as early as possible, which I suppose is the safest strategy here against the Hybrid weapon. Tries to go for a bolus punish, doesn't quite land it. I noticed Eli has a Syncadea on his hip. It looks like he swapped off of the Imp Head to get a bit more endurance so he could have the Syncadea as a backup. So it looks like he is intending on having sort of like emergency unreactable tool here in the off dagger. Ooh, lands a running attack. Ace did not quite space that. Ooh. Ace gets a little greedier with the backswing, ends up having a really bad trade with that rolling attack, which was free angled to hit as early as possible. Very clever. Tries to go.
GG.
Oh, very unfortunate. He went to reapply his buff and ended up panic rolling here. Looks like he was expecting some sort of punish attempt from Eli, but Eli very cleverly did an R2 instead, lightly charging it to alter his timing, and Ace did not quite react to that delay. Ended up getting caught here for the kill.
Great round from Eli. He went more aggressive, more proactive, and it worked fine for him.
Now
SJ really
it's
trying to
1
force his
to
interactions as much as
1.
possible here. Really making Ace think twice about all of his interactions. And as round 3 starts, it looks like Eli is opting to throw a frostbite early as opposed to drinking his physic. However, it doesn't quite land. Now it looks to me like Ace actually got hit by that frostbite, but because of the amount of robustness he has thanks to Leonel's armor and the spiral horn, he actually didn't quite proc the frost here. I'm surprised he didn't get hit by that. It looks like they are getting a few ghost hits. As I think this is an NA to EU matchup. I know Eli is from EU at least. Backstab attempt comes in, whiffs, gets punished by the rolling attack here for what I think looks like a counter hit. And so here I see like Ace is really being forced to take a few more risks. Like Eli's doing a good job staying in his face, making sure like, exactly like this, right? Like any turn and burn attempt is gonna be risky now because of the threat of that hyper armor. Well, he's getting away with some hits though. Tries to roll in. I think he might get poisoned from that. Or at least is close to proccing. Oh, running attack. Doesn't quite get spaced by Ace. See what's happening here. Ooh. See, like Eli is consistently trying to bait him into engaging because he knows he's able to win the trades, but in terms of just the pure moveset, the TSR1 is simply much more likely to land. There's really no risk-free strategy for either of these players. Though I suppose if you wanted to play like the long game, you could play extremely passive with TS. That might be the optimal, like the safest call here. Now I'm not sure if these players are willing to do that. It can be quite tedious to play super passive, even if it's the optimal thing to do here. It's like Eli has lost his tier, however. Ace tries to come in with a running R2, trades, ends up getting more hits. Both players have now lost their tier, but it looks like Ace is on the back foot in terms of health. Punish in there from Eli doesn't quite land, it's barely spaced. Ooh.
Both have low
Eli
HP.
really fishing for those strays, didn't quite get it, ended up getting punished. However, both players seem to be on about equal health with no tier. Eli is getting ghost hits off, but it looks like it is not proccing the poison. Oh, very unfortunate jump, ends up getting clipped here. Oh my goodness. Ace with the turn and burn attempt didn't quite work. He swapped to Red Feather to try to get a punish, to try to finish him off very quickly since he doesn't have enough to tank one hit. But Eli's off dagger comes out and finishes him off in the corner. I think that's precisely why he had that dagger out. It wasn't to deal the bulk of the damage, it was to try to finish off an opponent that was perhaps too tanky or playing too carefully to get hit by a hyper armor weapon. When you're on 1 health, you can't really take the risk. So the off dagger here, pick from Eli, really ended up paying off.
Good luck.
Good luck.
Potential match point here for Eli on the left, Ace on the right. Both players start out by using the physic. Ace appears to tank a frostbite thanks to the robustness. Swaps to neutral shield. A nice little chip from neutral here thanks to Ace, forcing Eli to remove his Crimson Ember. Another unfortunate trade here. Both players had Ritual Shield up, so it kind of did no damage whatsoever. So I see what Ace is doing. He is trying to do a preemptive R1 here, trying to interrupt, or at least like chip Eli during his approach. He's making a bit of a read in neutral to see like when he engages. Ooh, I'm surprised he didn't get hit by that. It's a bit of latency here. Eli is on this Astro, I don't even know the name of it. I'm not sure why he's using it. He is poison proc. Will he get the bolus off? He's placing lava on the ground to cover himself. A very good attempt, but unfortunately gets hit by a jump attack. Roper is kind of resetting here, getting their resources back, filling that FP bar up. See Ace really consistently trying to... Ooh, he took a huge risk there, just went up in his face. You are begging to get R1, my friend. He's trying to chip him out with the rolling attacks. He's just mashing out of hit stun. What is happening? Gets a hit there, gets a little greedy, but barely gets away. They're both poisoned. He goes for a bolus, but Eli punishes it. I am seeing Eli on my screen right now. Tries to go for bolus himself, but gets punished too. They're both out of physics. That bolus attempt from Eli was a huge detriment to him. He is on 1 HP. One little tap from the fist could be enough here. My goodness. Ace swapping to Starfish for that finish.
Now.
I think Ace is a huge advantage here. Really trying to get that last hit.
GG!
And there you go.
Good fight!
The fist finish ends it all, and it is now match point 2-2. Ace able to bring it back here. Who will come out on top of this round one? This is absolutely peak PvP, my friends. I would not have expected the Great Stars to perform this well against the TS, but it looks like Eli is holding his ground pretty well. But honestly, both these guys are playing quite well here. Though I'm certain that Eli regrets using that bolus. It kind of enabled Ace to go for a finish. Looks like Eli is committing to his Great Stars off dagger strategy here. Both players are sticking to their setups here. Down the line, match point. They are sticking to the strategies. They are both not using Fizz like a round start. Instead, Eli opting to spam Bistro to try to get a punish off. Gets a bit of damage here. Want to consume each other's resources as early as possible here. But Eli is unfortunately frostbit. Ooh, is going to get a little punish here. Ace gets away with that backswing. He's able to roll away. That is a huge health lead. Well, not huge, but still quite a noticeable health lead for Ace this early on. Little trade there. But Ace, Eli is slowly bringing it back. He gets hit a few more times, though. The health lead is still noticeable. Ace with the prediction here. Eli kind of ran into it and didn't quite get the hyper armor to start. Good spacing there from Ace. Doesn't quite get the punish though. Chooses to rebuff. It comes out from Ace. Ace keeps trying to get greedy in Eli's face, and every single time he starts taking major damage here. Goes for a bolus, gets punished by Beast Roar. Eli reapplying his buff with the Great Stars, and he destroys Ace's tier. This is kind of huge. Another bolus. Both players are kind of resetting the status bar. I believe Eli is very close to having his tier proc himself. The battle is not over yet. Ace tries to get greedy again, try to stay up close, really committing to that close range, but ends up getting poisoned, and the jumping R2 catches him! He goes for a bolus, but Eli punishes it. Again, this is gonna come down. Gonna be a very close fight once again. It looks like Ace is committing to the Starfist. Ace are really not taking as many risks as he did earlier in this fight, understandably. Oh, gets clipped close to the wall. He has to use a bolus now.
Wow! Wow!
Barely missed him, but then the backswing.
GG!
Good match.
Ace cornered himself after barely escaping with his life, narrowly dodging the Beast Roar, but he was put in the corner. He did not have the space to avoid the dagger range. It ended up getting caught by a backswing. GG's. That's going to be Eli taking it 3-2.
GG!
Well played, guys.
Yeah, both players
Yeah.
good. Honestly, any of them could win. Both play very good.
Yay!
I was not expecting the great stars to come out on top. I mean, even with all the restrictions put on TS under these rules, I was still expecting it to be able to completely outclass it. But it looks like Eli simply made it work, using status, forcing interactions, winning those strikes here, really taking advantage of every instance of greed from Ace. Ace really could not force himself into Eli's space. He tried to do it multiple times, but that got him hit more than it didn't. GG's, guys. All right. I think they're in the wrong positions again, but it's okay. I remember who was who. So we have Gavril versus 52. Gavril on the Sacred Blade TS, 52 on the Halfist. Let's see how this plays out here. Of course, I am more leaning towards the TS having the advantage here in this matchup, especially with no Flame Strike on the table, but I don't know. Maybe 52 could bring this back and show that when played correctly, it could still do something. But it looks like Gavril has a bit of a health lead right now. A few chunky hits with the Sacred Blade TS. Ooh, gets it by running R2, but the Ritual Shield nerfs the attack a lot. It's quite a negligible amount of damage overall. Very good outspace here from Gavril. Somehow avoids the off fist, but then doesn't go for a punish, oddly enough. He didn't have any Hypermur to fear. Okay, Flame of the Red Mains into Frostbite, that's interesting. He catches Gavril and then start representing R2. Gavril now on the offensive, goes for a backswing, is forced to disengage. The Sacred Blade rebuff comes out. Running R1 attempt. It's like he's just trying to work his way around the halberd, get up close, start that TS pressure that we all know and love, of course. Ooh, runs into it. Oh, he keeps all his prio. Gavril has no choice but to disengage. 52 really standing his ground here. Whiffs an attack in the corner. Gets punished pretty heavily for it. Looks like his tier has ran out. The Red Mains comes out. I'm not sure exactly what he's trying to do by using that, but Gavril is just simply avoiding all the damage. Sacred Blade rebuff comes out. He still has his tier up. Those are very ambitious jump attempts here. Ooh, very good spacing right there. He gets that punish. 52 going super aggressive. Oh, tried to strafe, gets caught by the office, and then in a flurry of attacks comes out from 52. And my goodness, Gavril could not dodge all of this here.
GG's!
Trying to force a strafe interaction, he got caught by the off fist, and instead of disengaging, he actually tried to stand his ground and really force that TS pressure, but 52 simply didn't let him, unleashing so many attacks. It was way too many for me to count. My goodness.
Killer combo.
Kill combo, absolutely. Gavril goes down. It seems that every time I think somebody wins a matchup, they end up losing, so we should probably stop speaking on that. Twice now, I say TS most likely wins, and the alleged underdog matchups just kind of comes back, so you never know what happens in the end. The good thing about these first 3 matches is that it gives more leeway for each opponent to kind of adapt to what they're facing and make a new strategy. For example, right here, I think Gavril's going to be way more aware of the office. Now, the fact that he really cannot try to force his prio back when he's hit. Really, you can't do that against Halfist. That's probably the best thing about that setup, is how comfortably you can keep your priority if you are able to get a clean hit. In patch 1.10, not all weapons are able to do that. Gavril going for the buff. 52 throws 2 Frostbots, doesn't quite land, and now they're back to play neutral here. Rolling attack ships 52. Looks like Gavril is not really trying to force chase, he is really just going for those out spaces. Oh, and the Flame of the Raven is going to jump over. Ends up in a tight situation here, close up. And Gavril lands a couple of hits. A bit of a lax back there, it seems. I'm not sure if that was happening on their end too. The unfortunate pivot there, I think he was trying to go for an off fist, didn't quite work. Gets hit during his approach. Rolling attack will come out there, yep. Tries to disengage immediately, but a little too early, gets caught by the halberd. Still a huge health lead for Gavril. 52 is trying to keep up with Starfist and try to burst him down, but Gavril is simply not falling for it. He's able to, he disengages very carefully. He's not making the mistake he did the previous match, trying to force his way through 52's defense. It didn't work. He knows not to do it again. He's just really exploiting the speed of the TS here. See, even off of a trade, he simply keeps all the prio. You really cannot force your way through at all. Goes for jumping, R2 doesn't quite land. Rolling attack here, yeah, really not taking any risk, really just going for the fast poke. Those are the fast rolling attack. And in the end, he ends up getting a hit.
GG.
Nice.
Follows up with the backswing. The backswing was, I think, was not safe overall. But because of the huge health lead and the fact that 50 was one hit away from death, it was able to work out and finish him off. 52 that much value at all. I'm not exactly sure what interaction he's looking for here. But it looks like he is swapping to a TS. So now we're going to have a TS mirror. Gavril on the Sacred Blade TS with BronDaGoat Talisman. With BronDaGoat Armor, and 52 on the full Lionels. Round start Physic. Okay, so 52 is going for the Poison TS. Gavril is going for the Sacred Blade TS here. It's going to be like a burst damage versus status kind of situation. Interesting to see how this plays out. Roll catch attempt doesn't quite land. Gets caught in the air. Looks like Gavril does win the match war in terms of burst damage. Obviously, his is a little higher. Or theirs, I don't know this person. You see Gavril completely fishing for those strays. They're absolutely well aware of their damage advantage here. They don't care about the poison
Let's
at all.
go.
Oh, and the backstab comes out
Damn.
from Gavril here.
Nice.
The frostbite on Wake Up doesn't quite land, and yeah, like Gavril absolutely pushed.
Yeah.
Very aware of their damage advantage here. It seems like when it comes to a TS mirror, in this case, the higher burst, the higher like the damage per hit, simply overpowered the status. You saw there at the end the health lead from Gavril. This Sacred Blade really seems to have made a difference here for this matchup. Despite, I believe, 52 having more just pure pierce resistance, given the fact that they went full Lionels. But it looks like they are finally swapping to something else. They're now trying PSGS. PSGS is not banned, right?
Well,
We need to make sure. We need to make sure of this. Power Stance, Great Spears. Okay. So the only banned things are Spear Talisman, Greases, and Mog and Silurias.
Right.
So yeah, they're playing fine. Yeah, so the round has already started. 52's on the PSGS here. Please do not use a Grease on your PSGS. That is banned. No, so Grease is on Tree Spear, my bad. Yeah, no, it's fine. It's been on Tree Spear only. Anyway, we can get back to the match here. 50 trying to force his way in, trying to start that vortex, doesn't quite work, gets smashed out by the TS so many times. Oh my god, he took so much damage. Trying to play aggressive into the thrusting sword did not quite work. Gavril was able to take all of these hits here.
Wow.
52 out of tier. Oh. Vortex doesn't quite start. Gavril able to slowly chip 52 down. Looks like 52 is running out of options. Doing the two-handed lance, trying to force their way in using Hyper Armor. Manages to get 2 good hits off, but the health lead is still too huge. Looks like Gavril is on their way to finish this match off here. One more hit. No blue feather available. It is looking very, very difficult for 52. Spamming running attacks, trying to get that finish off.
Wow, GG.
And in the end, yeah, the Starfist comes out. Nothing you can do here. Well played from both participants. It looks like Gavril is going to be taking this 3-1.
This
Yeah.
is so
Yeah,
cool,
that was nice.
GG.
Yeah.
Yeah, good run from Gabriel. He was more faster, more aggressive. He dominated the last 2 rounds, really.
Well played, people. Very well played.
Yay. Good luck, buddies.
Alright, whenever you're ready. Alright, so we have Verypatto on the Twin Blade, Verypatto on the Twin Blade versus Seva on what looks to be Great Bow and Fat Roll. Very creative build. They are hard stopping back to, it looks like, Legieres with Poison Mist. Alright, so double status battle, Frostbite against Poison. The third match, third time we see somebody use a thrusting sword. I'm curious to see how the Twin Blade plays into it. Verypatto trying to force a Poise Chip interaction here with that running R2, doesn't quite get it, but eventually lands some nice hits. Looks like they swapped their Twin Blade. I wonder what they're using now. Good dodges here. Good spacing inside a Verypatto. Oh my god, they land the running R2. It looks like Seva is still fat rolling. Patto is trying to take advantage of this, doesn't quite manage it. Gets poisoned in the process. Looks like they're far away enough to land a bolus for free. The burst damage of the Twin Blade is not to be underestimated. Oh, and their tier is blocked here. The Legers R1s come out. They strafe around the attack. Seva manages to use the lifesteal. And Patto is cornered. The Twin Blade still has a chance here, but without the... Ooh, very unfortunate. They are able to dodge the first of the letters, but get hit by the second. Lifesteal comes out again. Doesn't quite land. Frostbite attempt. And the rolling
Good
attack
fight.
barely clips Patto.
Good fight.
Very, very good match.
Indeed.
Remember, as dominant as Thrusting Sword overall is, the Twin Blade's burst damage is not something you should sleep on. If you're Poise Chipped against a Twin Blade, you are in trouble, because that running R2 is going to come out very fast and stun you for a big hit. You saw that happen to Seva. And really, Patto had a win con here, but honestly, the more you're able to chip, really the lack of red feather and blue feather available really honestly helps matchups that are helps weapons and setups that are kind of designed to slowly chip you, right? Not like a huge burst, but just like, you know, very steady, consistent hits. It seems like it gives, I'd argue it gives TS a bit of an advantage in some cases. Because but maybe I'm wrong. I haven't really played on such rules. We always had Blue Feather allowed in the tournaments I personally participated in. I'm actually not sure what changes, but I assume that things like that would tend to work. Round 2 begins here. Patto gets hit by a Frostbot. I love seeing the round start strategies, right? It's very interesting. Poison Mist against Frost Mist. Patto on the Frost Twin Blade. Seva on the Poison TS. Oof. Running R2. Roll catches Patto. Again, the idea here, the strategy of Patto is to try to go for a poise chip. Chipping Seva's poise to set up their running R2, which has an unreactable first hit, but it normally doesn't deal that much poise damage, which is why you want the opponent to be poise chipped to enable that attack to really work here. Lands 4 really clean hits, ends up getting the Frost proc. But Seva is able to use the mist to cover their bolus attempt. Patto mashing out of hit stun, as is the strategy in Elden Ring 1.10. Ends up getting Ghost hit for a nasty proc here, but it still has a big health bonus. I don't really care. Oh, never mind. They still win for the bolus. Ooh, and then get roll caught by that lifesteal here. Seva looking to bring this back, and the Moonveil hard swap with off empty hand, and the mash out of hit stun. These strategies are very unconventional, but I love to see it. Off straight sword, main hand Moonveil here to try to force the prio, and they are able to get out from that. Get hit cleanly by the Moonveil. They failed to react it. This match could go either way, honestly. Oh, and no, get
This is so cool. GG.
Very unfortunate timing here. So, what happened is when you're in that situation, right? If you're dealing with like an unreactable move, like close range DS, for example, there's like a very specific timing where you kind of start like, if you see nothing for a while, you kind of instinctively want to get away from that situation, get away from the range, and you start doing like run into roll. But to go from running to roll, and it's like even more impulse required because you have to let go of circle, press it again, release again, and in that little timing, right? In that moment, in that sort of interaction, you are basically, in order to get away, you kind of have to, like, it makes rolling on reaction harder. People often get clipped in that situation. That's exactly what happened here. You saw that Seva was kind of, saw that Patto was kind of just like sitting there, looking to react, saw nothing, started winding up their run, and then got hit right there to the finish. Something you have to be very wary of, but it's difficult to keep track of everything that can go wrong, right? And that's going to be a point for Seva. Now 1-1. This is round 3. Looks like Patto is going on the PSSS, still with Frozen Mist. Seva still on the poison. Legers. Being chipped here and there. It looks like Patto has not used their physic yet. I'm not sure why. Maybe they wanted to go for like some kind of round step option to punish Seva's buff attempt, but it looks like it is costing them a lot of this match. They're slowly bringing it back, but in the end, the lack of a buff here is really going to be detrimental.
That's
and the
unfortunate.
lifesteal comes out and causes a bleed proc. My goodness, that is a lot.
Let's
The greatest
go.
poker on the planet,
Good
Braun.
luck.
Hyper Armor Hater against the Grisha. Let's see. We'll put his physic up. Looks like Braun is going to be on the PSSS. And Grisha... Oh, no, it's the other way. So Braun is on the fist, Grisha is on PSSS. This matchup was discussed today, actually.
Really? What they discussed?
So, the general consensus before from a lot of players was that PSSS beat the Fists, but Braun disagrees, saying that PSSS never truly wins any matchups, more like the opponent losing by guessing wrong and running into backswings and things like that. So he actually is not much of a believer in the PSSS's dominance in this matchup, at least when Star Fists are built properly with high strength and pretty optimal damage for 125. And sure enough, it looks like Braun was able to get some pretty nasty trades in. The advantage of having access to an unreactable attack, like the running attack of the Fist, is you can kind of pick and choose when you engage here. Like there you go. Like that was, I guess, there he was vulnerable to backswing, or would have traded at worse. I think like he timed it quite well. See this matchup here. Grisha trying to force the backswings, making Braun afraid, but when he's in, he's really in, and he took a huge advantage of that bit of pressure he got. Gets clipped by a backswing here with a swaddling cloth proc on the side of Grisha. But now Grisha was cornered, and that is free damage for the Fists. Absolutely cannot end up cornered against that weapon. And yep. The whiff
Good fight.
comes out. And yeah, as Mac pointed out, I was gonna say that too. Pretty sure Flaming Strike is globally banned in this tournament.
Yeah.
But Braun won that round anyway. But Grisha, be careful next time.
What?
Use Flame Strike. It
So
is apparently banned for this tournament.
Born used the banded Edge of War.
Yeah, Grisha did, but they lost the round anyway, so we can continue like normal.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like it didn't even land. Like it was like a keep out attempt. Braun just avoided it. Like it didn't help them. It didn't give them this kind of like unfair advantage here.
Okay.
So we can continue as if nothing had happened.
Let's go. Second round. Good luck.
No, Albert, it is what it is. Reading is hard, guys, okay? Physics comes out from both participants. Braun sticking to the Starfist here. Looking for a nice jumping attack here. Goes for the red mains, but Grisha just kind of walks into it. I'm not sure what happened there. Braun covering his whiffs with an R2 there, which lands. So he's always being very, very wary of that PSS backswing. It comes out, and then he engages, and only after that. He's baiting it a lot here. I see what he's trying to do. He's trying to like bait it, and then end up getting a punish by jumping over it, but he ends up getting launched too far and doesn't quite get the punish. Grisha ends up being cornered. The Starfist come out, dealing 2 million damage.
Wow. GG.
And yeah, just one last neutral interaction.
Fine.
Braun goes in, finishes Grisha off. That's going to be 2-0.
This is so cool.
Fists are working great for him.
Fists are just all around absolutely fantastic. Like I miss using fists sometimes. I have to ask Braun for that build. I'm not sure exactly what his stats would be, but if I'm going to try Starfist, I'm definitely going to be using whatever he's got here. Damage is to be super solid. It appears that Grisha is going to be swapping to Great Stars. Bleed Great Stars at that. Abandoning the PSSS to fight Starfist here and opting for Hyper Armor instead. I wonder how Braun's going to adapt. Braun probably fuming. A vein popped in his head just seeing a Hyper Armor weapon. There is no man more dedicated to hating Hyper Armor than Braun. he is not engaging as much as he did before. Obviously, you don't want to run into Hyper Armor.
Oh, this is
He
so
ends up,
cool.
oh, this Ash of War comes out, doesn't hit Braun at all. He ends up getting an R2 as they were running for free. You can't be giving Braun such an advantage in terms of health. Braun goes for a late space, doesn't quite get it, gets clipped. Although that was good damage, it's not going to be enough to turn the tides here in terms of a health lead. Braun still with a big advantage, goes for running R1, it fully lands, but he ends up trading. And while I believe he lost that trade overall, he is still having a pretty significant health lead here. He predicts the keep out R1 from Grisha, beats it with a jumping attack, which I don't think you can Hyper Armor at that point. And the R2 comes out as Grisha was trying to fight him off. A chunk of damage here. Grisha is rolling around.
Okay.
They do not care. And Braun drops a shit spot to finish off this match. 3-0.
Good job.
You did great, Grisha.
This is so funny.
Yeah, that's fun.
You can't show Braun some Hyper Armor without making him mad. I asked him in the ERPDP leaderboards chat, I said, Braun, what if your partner is a 10 out of 10, but it turns out they use Hyper Armor? He said, divorce.
This is so funny. Okay, let's go. Good luck, buddies.
This comes out from both players. Omi on the double sights and DarkLord using two-handed health and steeple. Not a matchup you see every day. DarkLord here rocking the fashion. I appreciate that. I see you.
Yeah, thank you.
Got Omi here, really trying to make the sights work. He's able to get a bit more damage, I think. I'm not even sure what the moveset looks like. I don't think it's a very good moveset though. That crouch poke doesn't look too slow, that actually looks like a pretty decent move. Tries to go for an airhead, gets clipped out of it by that vertically swinging Velocilobster R1.
Oh! Ah, DarkLord.
Omi landing multiple hits here with a double sights. DarkLord going for a bit of keep out with the R2, doesn't quite land. Omi goes in, trying to get a kill, it seems, with that unique R2. This is a battle of style here. You have DarkLord rocking some cool, like, Magician, Knight fashion, and then Omi just going on, like, just for a double sight kill in a tournament.
Ow!
These are two people trying to style on each other, but the sword dance comes out,
GG!
and ooh, gets a roll. God,
That's
Good
unfortunate.
round. Both are doing good.
Yay, indeed.
Yeah, Halbard
Okay.
did the job.
Round 2 starts up. DarkLord against Omi. DarkLord going for the Milan Greatsword buff. And Omi sticking to the scythe. He's going for, oh my god, that true combo, I did not know about that. Going for 2-handed scythe here. Trying to style on DarkLord. But DarkLord replying with superior fashion choices. This is a battle of style, of coolness, of fashion. In the tournament, you love to see it. But Omi has proc their tier. Going for the charge R2 again, doesn't quite land. Just swings from both sides, either really landing. Only really trying to get that charged R2 interaction. DarkLord swaps to a straight sword.
Ow.
Tries to go for, it looks like Glintstone Pebble, gets interrupted.
Let's see, how is Omi looking to finish itself? The double side steer almost gets punished, but the Great Sword doesn't quite let it. Ends up finishing DarkLord with a running attack. Very unfortunate. That's going to be 2-0 for Omi.
What on me?
Well played.
So now this round 3. Good luck.
Looks like DarkLord has swapped to the Swyhander. We'll try to out hyper armor the scythe here. Blaze of Darkness comes out. Able to get a hit here. Goes for the backstab attempt, but whiffs, and DarkLord punishes with a crouch poke or just a rolling attack. Nice roll catch there from Omi. DarkLord going back on the Swyhander. Gets interrupted by the R22 true combo. Almost gets roll caught, but lands a rolling attack. Omi goes around him trying to get the backstab, but just barely misses. Gravity fans come out. I'm surprised Omi did not get hit there. A nasty trade which breaks the tier. Another backstab attempt from Omi. He's really trying to get those style points, but it might cost them. Charge R2 attempt. Misses the true combo.
Wow, that's so cool.
That's the guard break.
Wow.
Break.
Ow,
And he barely survived.
just one more hit.
Anything,
Go
even
for
a
it.
sneeze. A sneeze can kill Omi right now.
Go
And
for
DarkLord's
it.
trying to finish him off.
Go for it. Good luck, bunny. Go, go, go. Ah!
Unfortunately,
Oh,
in
nice.
neutral, Omi
Was very
rushes
close.
in, fights back, lands that running attack at max range, and finishes DarkLord for the kill here. Very
I mean, you was don't
unfortunate.
but I totally forgot.
Ah, unfortunate.
I like your fight. You did good.
Yeah.
That is
Yeah.
going to be 3-0 for Omi. They will be moving on to the next round.
Good match.
Yeah, it was fun. You did good, DarkLord. I like your style.
Yeah, you changed many weapons. That is so cool.
Also, you
Yeah.
use magic, and not often you see magic in these tournaments.
Yeah, I wanted to try something different.
Okay, ready? Let's go. Good luck, buddies.
Okay, let's go. We have Bean against Velocilobster, aka Strong Femboy.
So it looks like Lobster is on the Zwei and Bean is on the Glorious. Bean doing their greatest Frosty impression here with the crouches. Looks like there's some... Is the connection being weird? I actually don't know anymore.
Yeah.
I don't know if the connection's weird or if they're being weird. Could be either way, to be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, they're unleashing a flurry of R1s. Monkey mashing out of hit stun, just like Eisenwave predicted.
Wow.
And a jump attack comes out.
That is
the
fast.
R1
Job, Bean.
matching them.
Nice.
That's
Yeah,
gonna
good
be 1-0
For Bean.
for Bean.
Give a point to Bean, please.
Yeah.
Later.
Oh.
Oh,
Yeah, please look at the overlays. It's 1-0 for Bean right now. Round 2 is starting.
Wow.
Lobster is going on the oh my goodness, the Godfrey Axe Ash of War. Bean tries to jump over it thinking it's the Horror Lou one, but completely gets hit out of the air. Takes quite a lot of damage here. First time I see a Godfrey Axe in the tourney, and oh my god, Bean is getting hit by the unique buffed R2. Absolutely crazy stuff. Offhand Highland Axe comes out. Lobster with like a two-handing. Gets hit by an unsheath. Oof, nasty. The Godfrey Axe was almost so good. It's a shame that the unique R2 is on the...
Wow, this is so cool.
strong.
Oh,
That comes out in the
Goodbye. That is so cool. Okay, round
Okay, that's
3.
gonna be match point for Bean. Lobster still needs to make that comeback. Bean opting to use the Starfist. Lobster trying to buff their Godfrey Axe. Ends up getting hit. Bean is able to land the punish this time. Looks like Bean wants to close this out cleanly using the Starfists. The R2 punish comes out. Just a bunch of R2s. Bean is just gonna finish this round with R2s only, it looks like.
Oh,
And,
that
yeah,
is so fast.
Lobster isn't able to react to the R2. Perhaps they were in their menus,
Very slow.
but the
Not
roll,
nice.
the roll did not come out. And both participants
duels.
are disengaging. Bean going to space, levitating over us mere mortals. That's
What?
going to be 3-0 on the side of Bean, and they will be moving to the next round.
Bean is still here. Why I see they're still here?
yeah.
Don't worry about it. It's a side effect of being goated.
This is so funny. Let's go. Good luck, buddies.
It is going to be K2 versus Mag Randa. Looks like Mag is going to be on the start this year with K2 running the Twin Blade.
Wow.
K2 got themselves cornered here for a couple of free hits for Mag. Mag's being confident on the Starfist here. Though it does appear that they have been voice chipped. Not good at all. Wins that interaction right there pretty confidently here. Very nasty trade. After catching here, though, K2 did lose a lot of space. The red main comes out. Looks like the red main is to try to force Walker to a situation where they're susceptible to an R2 trade, but K2 did not fall for it. Jumping attack comes out. He's able to get spaced. Wait, Flaming Strike? Isn't Flaming Strike banned? Hold on.
Flaming Strike bang. Yeah, it's
There's an
banned.
issue here, though. There's a global ban on Flaming Strike. Gentlemen, you might have to reset here.
Yeah.
Who
Yeah, you
using?
had already allow him to
Okay, so
break the rules.
once again, the person that used the ban thing ended up losing the round anyway, but moving forward, remember, there is a in this tournament, allegedly, apparently, there is a global ban on Flaming Strike. So please do not use it again, K2.
Then 1 point goes to Matt Randall.
It's gonna be 1 point for Mag.
Okay.
Okay, round 2 begins. Visit comes out. K2 is swapping to Shunter.
Mag trying to get that cheeky little interaction with the red main flame, but K2 is actually just simply not falling for it. Get chipped by the jumping attic here at max range. Mag able to get away from that crouch poke safely. Nice crouch poke comes out. Starting a bit of a vortex here. Mag goes for backstab. It whiffs. K2 pressuring again. Mag is getting consistently hit by those shunter rolling attacks. He's able to strafe that hit, however, tries to go for an arch, doesn't land. K2 still stacking some hits. Mag just to jump over, doesn't get, it gets hit again. Mag is simply not able to get his fist pressure going against that shunter. Very good frame there inside of K2.
Fast now! Whoa!
Ooh, there's some weird interaction here that happened. Looks like Mag is going for the Katars with Barb Roar. Working on a comeback right now. Love to see some Barb Roar representation. Oh, is he able to get the combo? No, just barely misses. Now he's on one hit away from death. K2 opting for the Shamshir as his finisher option.
Wow.
And Mag gets Scott trying to engage with the running attack. That is going to be that's going to be
GG.
1-2-1. K2 tied it up.
Well played.
Good fight. So it's round 3. Let's go. Good
Hockey
luck.
starts. Both participants are using the physic. It looks like Mag is going to be on the club here. Whereas K2 is opting to actually use the Starfist. Oh, never mind! He swapped off, and while he was swapping, he actually got hit here, giving himself a huge disadvantage early in this mirror match. This with Redman Flames simply doesn't work. K2 went back on Shunter to adapt as it was working before, but Mag counterpicks again by going on the club. Both opponents are counterpicking each other on reaction with soft swaps and hard swaps. That's how we played on PlayStation. We counter swap each other all the time over there. See, Mag's roots are showing here. He's sticking to the club. He did get a nasty hit. It looks like he is not winning the trades as he wanted to. There's one hit that he missed that he would have traded. I think they gave him like a pretty big advantage, but he's actually fat ruling as he's trying to swap off to mean roll again. He gets hit. He is mashing out of his stun desperately. Nothing is working out. He is not winning the trades at all. And K2
No point down, buddy. No point down. Respect your opponent. Respect your opponent. Let me warn him. No point down.
And Braun egging them on, adding to the Hyper Armor hate. I think Braun threw up watching that match as it was a Hyper Armor mirror for the most part. Absolutely powerful stuff. It's going to be 2-1 for K2 here. The club did not work out. If you guys don't know, most Hyper Armor weapons have a damage reduction effect applied during the Hyper Armor, but I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, I believe the club does not. Which means you're just taking the full power of the things you trade with. And sometimes it simply doesn't work out. Looks like that's going to be round 4 starting. Mag opting to choose the Starfists. K2 on the Gugs, like it is 1.0. Off dagger Gugs, interesting. Looks like Mag is able to avoid that dagger here. Pretty good read. Mag not finding his opening right now. Reluctant to use the R2s. There they go. They come out finally. I expected him to use it a little earlier. Gets hit by a crouch poke. And another one here. Tries to go around. Gets hit by an R1. Chilling Mist comes out. Looks like Geiju's looking to finish him off with some heavy burst. A good neutral jumping attack here. So jumping attack in neutral from Mag is able to clip K2. And another one comes out here. K2 potentially getting in tier skip territory. If he eats another R2, it might be over for him. Mag really trying to land that burst to finish that match right here. Gets hit out of the air. Lands the R2, doesn't quite tier skip. Now both of their tiers have been procced. Mag could be in trouble if he gets hit by another big chunk of damage here. He's able to land another hit, bringing K2 close to death and finishes him off
That
with a
is
running attack.
2-2.
Well
Wow.
played to Mag.
It is now match point for both participants. I wonder what they're going to try to pull out here. So far they went through Fists, they went through Shunter, Gug's off dagger, the club. Seen a bunch of things in these players. They are swapping constantly, trying to find a crack in the opponent's defense, trying to see how really to bring them down without too much difficulty. K2 is eyeing using the Shamshir for a second there, but ended up not using it. He's just non-stop swapping, showing off all his arsenal, showing how versatile his build is. Very powerful stuff. The round is starting. Mag is on off-island axe with the Katars. Then Barbara Katar gets Shunters, how we're going to start this final round here. However, Mag does get hit by a straight jumping attack. Very bad way to start, but I'm sure he can make a comeback here. Clips in the last hit of the Barbroar R2. He's able to get a nasty combo through that Shunter poke. He seems to have the advantage, it would look like, in those trade situations. Looks like they're both going to stick to the original picks. And a running attack catches K2 on his way, I think, to jump or try to space it. Mag himself gets it by running around. Here he starts to get Vortex. You can see that K2 is always moving away after getting a hit to try to like call out and punish the Barbroar unique R2 out of hit stun. The Mag is not falling for it. Instead, he's just getting hit by regular attacks here. The late running attack comes out. Very risky move. Could have been hit by a crouch poke. And it finally comes out. Mag is getting hit over and over again. And the guard break comes out on the Katars. It looks like he was trying to do a hard
That is so cool.
Yeah.
Wow,
Looks like
GG.
It
So
looked
cool.
like Mag was trying to do a hard turn, right? And to avoid the pivot animation, he did it while holding block, not realizing, or perhaps not thinking about it in the heat of the moment, that the crouch poke could come out and actually break his guard even as he was turning his blocking weapon away. So he got guard broke like that, and then the fight ended this way. This happens more than you'd think. I remember very well back in it was like a few patches ago, I was having a spiked Ceaseless mirror with Marco Vesso on PlayStation, right? And I remember we both guard broke each other like at really awkward times. It happened way more than it honestly should have. And these were just friendly matches, so we kind of laughed it off. But to have that happen in a tournament, that's got to be devastating. Very unlucky interaction here from Mag. I like his idea of using the Barbroar Katar to try to condition the Shunter even during their own aggression. You can see it did work as K2 landed those crouch pokes of the Shunter. Instead of just like going for that vortex, going for more pressure, he tried to space himself out, anticipating a Barbroar R2 out of hit stun, which he loses to if he tries to poke again. So it's quite clever play here from both of them. It shows how effective Barbroar can be at conditioning even crouch poke setups in their own aggression here, especially like ones like Shunter that have less burst damage than something like PSGS, for example. I don't think it'd be nearly as effective if he did that against like Silurias or even just Lances. But to deal with a weapon like this that has like tons of hyper armor but less burst damage, that seems to have been a promising option here.
Honestly could have gone either way if it wasn't for that unlucky guard break. And that was gonna be it right there.
Okay,
Okay, are we gonna be ready to start?
let's go. I'm so sorry. Let's go.
Okay, looks like... Oh my goodness. Frosty... on the magic build, the caster build here, has their magic out using Twitted Health and Steeple. Looks like it's a great sword mirror. That's gonna take ages, my goodness. Frosty wants him to fight in that Terra Magica here. He is looking for that big damage. Watey using what looks to be the Knight's Greatsword. Terra Magica runs out. Frosty going for these aggressive running attacks. It keeps on landing. Watey is absolutely not landing the hits he needs to make a difference here in terms of the health. He lands one hit. I don't think it's going to be enough to take that pressure away from Frosty. Frosty does another hit and another hit. Looks like Watey is frostbitten. Let's see what happens here. At this point, it looks like Frosty didn't have his tier. Looks like he didn't use his physic, perhaps? Because he then had way more hits than Watey. I think he just doesn't have his tier at all. The offhand staff. Nice spacing here from Watey. Attempts to get the punish, doesn't quite work, unfortunately. Frosty goes for the rebuff. Backstab whip comes out. Frosty goes in to pressure it. No hits occur. Just a free aim that R2, I think, to make it hit earlier here. Lands a little bit of the Carrion Slicer. Frosty play unlocked as usual. He is frostbitten. The Sword Dance coming out of Watey's side here, but unfortunately doesn't quite work. Gets caught by that running attack with the health and steeple. Honestly, a fight that lasted way less time than I expected. Two really good players using great swords in a tournament setting. You'd think that would last ages, that would last like hours, but it turns out actually it's pretty fast. That's gonna be round one going to Frosty.
Yes.
Round two begins. Both participants using the physic. Looks like Frosty is going for the magic damage physic, as well as the tier, swapping to CGS this time. Frost Rock coming out. Frosty with the spin style on CGS doesn't land. Twist that running attack goes for an R2, and Watey gets hit by 2 consecutive hits with the frostbite up. That is monstrous amounts of damage, especially with that tier 2, and he gets finished off. Frosty outspaces, charges up that R2. Watey panics and gets hit by that magic buffed CGS, and my goodness,
That is fast.
so much damage. Round 3 begins as match point for Frosty. Physic comes out once again. Chilling miss on the side of Frosty.
Watey sticking to the KGS. Look at these two warriors. They want to see who's the strongest hyper user of today. And Frosty's going to show him that R2s is what he lands. 2 R1s, 2 chunky R1s through that frostbite, demolishing Watey's health bar, and a crouch R1 comes out. Frosty is absolutely not letting him get away with anything here. Jumps behind him.
Wow.
Spin slash, and swiftly finishes off this match. That's going to be 3-0 to Frosty. Frosty, the softy, the strongest From Software simp of today.
My idol. That's so cool.
And YY's idol, congrats. You did not
Yay.
let her down. You did a great job, Frosty. 3-0. He will be moving to round 2. Eli, Gavril, get ready. We're about to play Elden Ring. I swear to God, bro.
Yes, it's ready. I swear
Round one
as well.
Eli against Gavril. Gavril's still on the Sacred TS. Eli is going to be using... What? What incarnation? Phalanx, Halberd stock. Absolutely filthy. But it seems like he is starting to get cooked by the Sacred TS. It is doing 3 gazillion damage to him. Offstock cook, I see it. Does seem like Gavril is running... he's not running 109. He's getting stunned by these. Still, he's able to consistently out-damage Eli, but the Frost proc is making the trades a little more even, to the point where, as you can see, without the tier, Eli is actually just winning the trades. Yeah, he's just absolutely, he doesn't care about this. He's just forcing his way in. He knows he's winning the trades. He knows Gavril didn't have any blue feather. About to die 1 hit away. He knew what was up. He took advantage of that. Made sure to not give up his ground. And finished Gavril off with a little off-stock.
Eli.
That's gonna be 1-0 for Eli.
Eli. I thought his name is Eli, so we pronounce it wrong in our last
some
tournament.
I don't know. Some people say both. Like Stilovsky says Eli. I say
Yeah.
Eli. Most people on that I know say Eli, but it honestly doesn't matter. He doesn't correct anybody.
Oma called him Eli.
I think works both ways.
Yeah, I think
Now
it works,
this
yeah.
second round. Let's go. Oh,
Same matchup. Both participants are not swapping their weapons. Yeah, we'll try to interrupt the phalanx here. Didn't quite work. It seems like he is losing the neutral battle by default here. The phalanx is helping him a ton. However, in the face of Halberd Offstock in the corner, Gavril is getting hit over and over and over again, and a Swaddling Cloth proc from Eli. He still kept his tier. Gavril has no tier, and is Frosted is absolutely not looking good here. Any bit of momentum from Eli could absolutely remove this man from existence. He gets the mash out of hits with the running attack and gets clapped by the Offstock for the finish. That's going to be 2-0 for Eli. Very quick round. Gavril is going to have to try extra hard to turn things around.
round 3.
Looks like they're really sticking to these matchups, but Gavril has to absolutely change his strategy if he wants to have any hope of winning right now. Good punish from Gavril here. Punishing Eli for that Phalanx recast here. He removes his Crimson and goes back to Ritual Shield here, giving him the trade advantage. Gavril here doing the correct thing, getting one hit in his approach, then disengaging. You see, like, the adaptation here, Gavril understands what he's supposed to do. Goes for a cheeky third swing here, which doesn't quite stun him, but still is able to get some good damage. Good rolling attack here, but he should have disengaged after. Some people would rather take the extra damage and guaranteeing themselves getting hit by Obstacle as opposed to trying to avoid the Obstacle entirely, because it is quite hard to react. I'm pretty sure it's unreactable most of the time. But Gavril has broken Eli's tier. It's looking like he could have a chance here. Very good strat here, using the Sacred Blade on a wall to make it bounce off. And he lands the Phalanx punish, but gets hit by the Phalanx itself. He still has his tier up, though. He has the advantage over Eli. Could go either way, but I am leaning towards Gavril taking this because of the health feed here. He goes in after Eli whips, but Eli's able to disengage. The tier is now broken. He still has quite a big health feed. and the running R1 catches Eli's roll backwards, putting him
nice.
one hit away from death, and
Nice.
Gavril ends up taking it here. You notice Gavril is the type of player that will try to like mess around for like a round or two, then realizes, okay, I have to do this, I can't force my way through. This is something we've seen before, like Gavril starting to lose a set because they keep trying to force their pressure, they keep trying to force the opponent, but without establishing like the respect first. Like the opponents simply don't respect their space, their prio. They keep mashing, they keep winning these sorts of these interactions here. But it's in that last round when it's match point, Gavril realizes like, okay, like now I have to really adapt. I can't force my engagements. I have to take my damage and disengage, and that's exactly what they did here for the win. So good adaptation on the side of Gavril here, but Eli is still on match point, and we're gonna see in this it's round 4, I think. Yes, round 4. How this ends up playing out. Very unfortunate. See, that accidental pivot from Gavril prevented him from getting a punish. You can tell he was ready for it. Very unfortunate trade. He's now in the corner and is about to get froststruck, I think. Ooh, barely. Takes a ton of damage. Tier not quite broken. Another accidental pivot from Eli, and then Gavril hits him with the R2 into kick combo here, but oh, very bad, unfortunate roll in. Ends up getting frostbite, gets some damage in, but loses their tier themselves. Very, very difficult situation here. Now without a buff,
Wow.
Eli forces his way in, still with his tier, so a bit more confidence, a bit more trade pressure here. Ends up just aggressing even after getting hit. Rushes Gavril for the finish and ends up killing Gavril with an off-stock here. The Frostrock is absolutely devastating without a blue feather. It's absolutely brutal how quickly matches can finish.
Yeah. Nice matches.
Really impressive stuff here. That's going to be 3-2-1 for Eli.
Let's go. Good luck, buddies.
YY is way
go.
too kind. She just said, yeah, sure, let's have him in. But anyway, oh, by the way, you don't have the stream up right now. I have to watch through Twitch.
Really?
You don't have the Discord stream up. That's okay, I can still commentate. So we have Seva against Braun. Braun is using the Starfist, Seva is using the looks like power stance thrusting swords, but they are fat rolling, and Braun is not gonna let them get away with this. Braun is absolutely mashing R2 like his life depends on it. They're both monkey mashing out of hit stun.
Who died?
As Eisenwave predicted in the ancient encryptions,
That was epic.
Monkey mashing out of hit stun, keeping prio every single time. Braun is able to take it, slamming Starfist R2 into Seva's forehead 15 million times for 15 billion damage here, and that's going to be 1-0 for Braun.
Okay, 1-0
Very well
for
played.
Braun.
Insane display of skill. Despite my thousands of hours playing PvP, I don't think I could replicate such a technique. Congratulations to Braun for proving that he's one of the strongest of the day.
Okay,
This is gonna look like round 2.
let's go.
I hope for both participants they discover the circle button. In my experience, it is pretty good. Looks like Braun is swapping to full Tree Sentinel. I'm not sure why. This is probably some sort of devious cook. Is sticking to the double thrusting swords here. Braun on the Starfists. Sacred Blade comes out. Goes for an absolutely cheeky running R1. It works just fine. Braun shaping him in neutral, absolutely robbing the neutral all the time. Landing
Wow.
all of his hits.
just absolutely merciless, and you really cannot get away with sloppy spacing against Fist because the moment you're too close, you're aimed to eat this unreactable running attack, and even being able to tank the first hit honestly makes little difference. If you are caught in something in neutral, there's nothing you can do. You're gonna escape those. You're not gonna be able to escape both attacks unless you react to getting hit by the first hit that poisons that chips poise very quickly. Usually, if you commit to something, you're gonna get hit by both hits. I say chipping him because, like, yeah, like poise chip, but yeah, like after that comes in a chunk of damage. Like,
Round 3.
Here's the thing, Bevan. From the perspective of a PlayStation player, that's chip damage. Real damage is a one-shot on PlayStation. You wouldn't get it. And that's gonna look like round 3. Starfish versus TS. Seva is opting to two-hand their Wrestling Sword here to try to maximize the damage. Let's see how that plays out. Braun checking them in neutral again. The jumping attack comes in and tons of damage. 800 damage, 1,000, 1,200 damage for Braun. Off this one interaction here, he managed to get in with a jumping attack, leading their keep out, and then just kept the pressure up, getting more and more and more and more damage. And another very good jump R1 comes out here. You really can't take the risk of trying to space these. Every time somebody does a fist jump R1 on you, you have to space. They can get so much momentum just off landing that once. And even though Seva was able to get more and more hits, just not enough to close this out. Very good R2 combo from Seva, but in the end, it's just not enough. Braun had way too much momentum already by that point. There was really no risk for him unless you pull out some kind of insane, like, hard swap parry, Dark Soap style. That's going to be it for this match. Braun takes it against Seva 3-0. The Starfists absolutely doing tons and tons of work here. That's going to be it.
Okay, let's go. Good luck, buddies.
All right. Ami versus Bean. And oh my goodness, what was that damage? What just happened? I didn't even have time to do my usual round start yapping, and the katana just cleaved this poor man in half.
The shield is so strong. Super high damage. So both of them use
That's gonna be 1-0.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Good luck.
Oh, it took.
Wow!
It appears like Ami is running a very interesting strategy here. The 20 vigor,
What?
no opaline, no buffs, one-handed, 2 sword seals, 12 FPS, broken monitor, broken hands, broken legs, just walking forward into a katana. A very unconventional strategy.
Yeah.
That I've never seen before, but I think it might be tournament viable. I don't know. Need more testing. It might be ban worthy if it proves a little too strong. I don't know. It looks a little overpowered to me, but I'm not the one in charge of the rules.
Round 3.
Round 2 begins here. Ami is actually buffing themselves for once here, using the Raptor Talons against Starfist. Very interesting matchup. Almost lands the charged R2. Ooh, that's gonna be a combo right there. The Raptor Talons actually doing some work.
Wow.
Ami has woken up and is actually starting
Nice.
to play the game normally, defeating the
Oh.
damage hacker Bean. An absolute insane 10 gazillion million IQ comeback here. Ami takes it 2-1 now. Still match point for Bean.
Let's see if Omi keep the momentum.
Yeah.
Hopefully, Ami does not use their round 1 and 2 strategy. I would not use it if I were them. Looks a little undertuned, I would argue.
Round 4. Let's go. Good luck. Let's see Omi can bring it back.
Round 4 begins. Both opponents are buffed up. Raptor Talons are out. Raptor Talons are doing work here. Almost lands again. But Bean is not about to let that happen. When the late, unfortunate. If you get spaced perfectly by the Raptor Talons, they just have seems to be some kind of you're in a guessing situation pretty much. Are they gonna do a uncharged R2 or charged one? You can't really cover both options if you don't have the room to avoid the uncharged R1. That's exactly the situation you're in if you end up whiffing too close to that thing here. And unfortunately, gets called out in neutral. Charged R2 comes out. Bean rolls just a little late. Ends up getting hit by the combo here. Very, very dangerous situation for Bean, and it happens again!
A whiff
Wow.
comes out. Ami is perfectly spaced, starts charging up, and Ami has to guess, and they guessed for an uncharged, so they preemptively rolled early in anticipation of that first hit that breaks the poise and ended up getting caught by the full charged R2 for the death here, the kill
for Ami, and it is now match point for both players here.
Good luck.
Braun immediately calling for a potential ban in typical Braun fashion. It's now PSS versus the Raptor Talons. Looks like Bean has swapped. He is no longer messing around. Ami wants to close this up with the claws here. And is that hyper armor? I believe at some point in the animation, if enough time has passed, it does seem to get a chunk of hyper armor. Because he just went right through, they went right through that PSS L1 here. Health looks to be about even. I didn't really get a good look, unfortunately. Tries to charge the R2 right in front of PSS, gets caught by the backswing. Doesn't quite work out. But they are now cornered. Ami trying to steal Prio using the claws here against PSS, but Bean is able to stand his ground and fight back. With the threat of a backswing that actually stuns, Ami isn't really able to run his game plan as effectively as before, but the whiff on that Ash of War creates the exact kind of situation that he needed to be enabled to use the charged R2 here. I don't think we're going to see Bean using the Ash of War again. It enables the Raptor Talons way too much. I think he's going to just stick to his regular L1s and maybe a jump attack here and there. Good clip from neutral. Is able to not get hit, prevent the combo. Did get chipped a little bit there by the Raptor Talons. I think one good combo from Ami will kill here. But with lack of Blue Feather available, Ami is also in trouble. Ooh, very close. That PSS L1 almost finishing them off right here. I think a swap to Starfist is coming. Ami is going to have to do some miracles here to have a chance to come back. But again, the burst damage on the Raptor Talons is not to be slept on. There is absolutely a winning chance here. It may require some luck, but it's absolutely doable. But Bean is being very, very careful.
Oh.
Carefully picking when he
Wow.
engages.
GG.
Ends up
Very
finishing
good
Ami
fight.
off with the Starfist swap. Well played from both opponents here. A bit of a... Yeah, Ami asserting dominance there, throwing the first two matches only to swap the Raptors and then bring it back to double match point. Only to ultimately lose to the power stance. Straight swords. Well played to both opponents. We are now moving to the next match. That's going to be Bean taking it 3-2
Yeah. Okay, let's go. Good luck, buddies.
Alright, we're gonna be using round 1 Frosty against K2. Frosty drinking his physics super late here, using the buff magic. CGS against Shunter. A Hype Armor mirror match. I'm sure Braun is absolutely writhing at the sight of this. Mauling, fuming, steam erupting from his ears. He cannot handle this anymore. But Frosty doesn't care. Frosty's a CGS enjoyer and he will keep using it no matter what. Frosty here on his trusty status CGS is able to rock Frost. K2 being super aggressive into CGS, not exactly what you want to do. Frosty's going to take advantage of that, and happily at that. K2 here just going in deep with the Starfist. All these fist weapons here, having to walk through that range. It lands 2 very nice R2s, doing tons of damage to Frosty, but Frosty's lead is very, very significant here. K2 one hit away from death, and poison is not looking good. Frosty with the off dag out to finish them off. They go in, get hit with a dagger for the kill. For Frosty, that's going to be 1-0 for Frosty. We're now going to round 2.
Second round.
Round begins, both opponents using physic. No, never mind. Frosty hits him with that projectile. Checking the early buff, then uses his own physic. Extremely toxic. Frosty, very dishonorable. K2 gets hit once more. Frosty going for the poison before swapping to the magic, it seems. Yep, that's the strategy. Looks like K2 did get the bolus up, but he keeps trying to monkey mash out of hits as the Prophet Eisen wave predicted. But he's not keeping priority this time. This is CGS for fighting. Chilling Mist comes out. He goes inside the mist. The Frostbite is triggered. Frosty here, enabled to deal tons and tons of damage. Probably about to break the tier. Yup. K2 going for spin slash Shamshir. Good swap in my opinion, but might be too little too late. With no tier and frosted. Frosty himself goes in. Oh, almost kills him with that running attack from max range. And now K2 is just at death's door right now. Really, there's really nothing he can do here. There's no way to avoid the dagger chipping you for the finish at this finish here. Yeah, he's swapping around, doing a bunch of different things, trying to surprise Frosty with a new moveset, new weapon that wasn't used in that match before, which is a decent idea, but with such a, like, giant health lead, there's really not much you can do, and Frost is going to be taking that round as well. It's now match point for Frosty, 2-0. K2 needs to find something to prevent Frosty from running his game plan. Frosty is running what I can only assume to be like an arcane end build, using a mix of like frost weapons, like poisoning first, then going for frost. Pretty interesting setup. I can't really tell exactly what his stats are, but he is running a strategy that works off of status, and K2 was playing very aggressive here, giving him tons of hits, not always rolling the attacks that were perfectly reactable, either due to like tournament mirrors or maybe Frosty's movement, and like maybe odd timings, a variety of things. Like even those attacks that are reactable on paper sometimes can hit you if you're not prepared, if you're not paying attention. The same strategy works again here. K2 makes the mistake of using his physic right away, giving Frosty that free uncharged Dash of Ward hit here from the Chris Blade. He's now cornered, and is that a fat roll? It is a fat roll from K2. Honestly, if Frosty was a little more aggressive there, he could have finished it off right here, like in the corner with fat roll. Really not much you can do to escape. But luckily, they do manage to get out. Frosty, using Helfen, Steeple, and Off Dagger, gets hit there by the Gugs. Frosty taking out the Off Dagger. Instead sticking to the two-handed Helfen Steeple here. Lands nice running attack, but eats jumping R1 himself, then just does an R2 out of hit stun, and he just like works. And the prediction jump, they trade, but once again, K2's in this horrible position.
Wow.
The dagger is all Frosty needs to finish him off, and yeah, there's really not much you can do at that point. Very hard to prevent your opponent from forcing a dagger, just like one single dagger hit here. You can trade on reaction with so many things. You can reaction roll catch, just way too many options. You would need some insane luck to be able to get out of that situation here. If you're K2, and unfortunately they are not blessed with such luck, and Frosty takes it 3-0. Moving on to the next round.
Lupa, who you think will win?
I did not know LeBron James played double codeds until I joined ERPVP Discord. It's crazy the things you learn in life. We're going to be looking at Eli against Bron here. Two very, very good players. I haven't fought Bron myself, but I have fought Eli on PlayStation, and I gotta say, he's pretty good with that TS. I don't know what he's going to be using against Bron. I don't know what you would use against Bron. I suspect Bron is probably going to stick to his main pick, that Stormit, which has been the Starfist, the high-strength Starfist for absolutely devastating damage. Really, burst damage, strong damage is such like so important to have in this game. Interactions that are on paper favored to you, you can almost enforce go through the way you want. If you have tons of damage, like for example, a weapon that can't safely like do a backswing into Starfist without risking eating the R2. Like, if your R2 damage is good but not devastating, they might still go for that risk. It's going to be less risky for them. But against somebody using like 80 strength Starfist, which I don't know if Bron is using that, but it's at least very high strength Starfist. To have access to such high damage in that situation is going to encourage every single player who's aware of those interactions to actually like back off and play according to what the theory dueling would favor.
I vote for Bron as well. I think he will be the winner.
Bron is certainly one of the favored picks, I think, for this event. Bron is well known for being very good.
True.
And I'm happy to see their Starfist play. I myself being a Fist fan, quite nice to see.
Oh. Okay.
Looks like Eli is going to be using PSSS for this match.
Let's go. Good luck.
Round 1 begins. Bron, I notice he does this. Round start, he doesn't drink the physic right away. He actually runs up to almost like threaten some kind of aggression and then uses the physic. I think it's quite clever, actually. It like almost discourages people from going from those round start like buff punishes. But he ends up buffing anyway. It's kind of like layering his round start options. I think it's quite clever. It's something that a lot of people, I think, should implement in their playstyle, in their strategy when playing on ladder or in a tournament. Because the moment the match starts, that's it. You don't get a free physic. Just how it works. I am very excited to see this matchup. PSS against Fists. Eli is quite a strong player, and I'm curious to see how Bron adapts to the PSS here. Like once again, on paper, the theory dueling theories would have you think that PSSS beats the Fists by virtue of having that backswing they have to consider every single time, but
as you can see, Braun is showing that in practice, having like more devastating, unpredictable bursts from this unreactable move is able to make a difference, even with the threat of that backswing after with like aggressive jumps, calling out some keep out. I like the preemptive running attack there, trying to predict some aggression coming from Eli. But you see, he does not engage. After Eli whiffs a L1, he knows the backswing is like his breadwinner effectively in this matchup. He simply refused to interact with it. The most you'll ever see him do is doing a run and then delayed jump to try to like bait the backswing, try to punish it, but it seems like it's not able to land very consistently because of the way that jumps behave. It looks like Eli has lost his tier, unfortunately, which puts him in a very delicate situation. He is able to get a very nice L1 on Braun, but Braun able to fight back, dishing out some crazy burst damage here, bringing Eli one hit away from death. I think even one half hit from the Starfish is going to be enough. That's exactly what you see him do here. He goes for the trade, a trade that he does not win on paper, but because of the circumstances, is able to finish him off here. When you're one hit away from death, it doesn't matter. If you lose the trade, if the opponent is dead, then that's gonna be it. Looks like both participants are in. Ron swapping his armor around, I think if he's trying to optimize it, or just like put him on whatever. He tends to do that sometimes. Full Leonels here on both sides. Braun sticking to the Starfist as usual. Looks like Eli's on PS, I think?
They both wear the same armor.
Yep. Hopefully we never get like a full mirror match, like because otherwise it's gonna be.
Here this born.
Yeah, that's Braun and Eli's on TS.
Eli. Okay.
Now, after having fought Eli's TS, he is certainly quite good with the TS. But against like optimized Starfist like that, I don't know if it's gonna be enough. Goes for Sacred Blade, pretty good choice. And Braun immediately starts aggressing. Wonder how this matchup is gonna play out. Braun is very aware of the amount of momentum Fist can keep. I think even if you get hit by TS, you're able to kind of keep your aggression on as the threat of the R2 is present, which will make them back off here. Swings after whiffing here. Eli played patiently, trying to get a panic roll out of him, but Braun did not bite and just smashed instead. Went for different option this time. Instead, started waiting. Good reaction rolls from Braun. Catching with the second hit of the running attack, and the roll does not come out from Eli. He was cornered and still, I'm not sure what it was to do. I think he tried to do some sort of keep out, but Braun read it and simply jumped over, which landed because he didn't have any space to get away as he was in the corner. Eli now on the back foot with no buff. It'd be quite difficult here. Goes for the unlocked swing backwards. Braun doesn't fall for it. Then does regular R1, and same here again. It almost happened twice in a row. He finds himself cornered. Braun has all the momentum you could want. Pressuring as well with the crouch attack of the Fizz, which is honestly quite underrated. Very strong move. Bust with the grease still goes in. Eli has no tier. He has to play very carefully. There's not much he can do to avoid the threat of the burst damage. Lands a nice running R2 into an R1, but Braun is aware of his advantage. He keeps pressing onwards and just rushes him relentlessly. Eli there with a good crouch attack, but it is not enough. Braun knows his advantage. He knows he can press as much as he wants here. No reason to play so careful with such a big health lead and the potential for burst damage. Just absolutely pressing and pressing from his momentum that he built by landing those big hits earlier in the match, and he's able to finish off Eli very swiftly here. The having to rebuff to really have damage to compete is honestly quite a big, just very detrimental for Eli in this matchup. He's just not able to comfortably reapply his damage. There's just not a chance you're going to get away with that with an optimized Starfist just on your face
all the time.
Okay, round 3. Let's go.
Round 3. Match point for Braun. 2-0 here. How will Eli adapt? Again, the usual tactic of buffing with the physic late, running up to see what they're doing, what kind of options they have, always anticipating some sort of like preemptive toss of something to beat round start physic. Braun is very aware of this. I think he's making the right call, and he's able to immediately get pressure off on Eli. Flynn the Redman comes out. Doesn't quite get that much value, but Braun is able to get away safely without taking a single hit himself. It's not looking good for Eli here. Eli standing his ground, but ultimately just getting hit. The whiff comes from Braun. Eli starts to pressure with the TS. Braun's able to react to all of it here. A very interesting strategy here. You notice what Braun's doing. He's doing like run up into jump R1 with no delay whatsoever. I think it's to make the opponent think that he's going for a running R1, but instead the jumping R1 comes out, and that bit of delay actually causes them to often get hit as a roll catch here, as he does against PSSS as well. I thought it was to try to like beat the backswing. It's actually to scare them.
Oh.
Into rolling backwards.
Well done, Braun. Good fight.
That pressure, the damage, the aggro, the knowledge of priority, and very good plays here to like get panics out of Eli to land that jumping R1. Really able to make the most out of his setups, and gets the win here. It's going to be 3-0 for Braun. Now, Bean versus Frosty. So people were talking about how apparently that matchup feels cursed in the chat, and Shieldbook replied that Bean's like an aggressive version of Frosty that plays meta. But that doesn't sound like Frosty. Like, I feel like Frosty to me is defined by not playing meta. Like, in a way, Frosty is like, he's kind of like how Painted Phantoms in Dark Souls 3. Like, Dark Souls 3 Painted Phantoms, he was a great player, but he never played meta. To the point where he was, frankly, a lot better and more threatening if he used off-meta than if he used meta, because he just knew off-meta stuff better. He knew how they played really, really well and could make the most out of them. And to me, that kind of sounds like how Frosty is as well. Frosty, if I saw Frosty on like Shamshire or PSGS, it'd still be a tough fight because, well, they're good setups and he's a good player. But I feel like I'd be more afraid of one of Frosty's like custom self-made cooks.
Hi.
You know, like that's what really scares you the most. I feel it's like, damn, okay, well, there's a Frosty setup. He uses this. He knows the ins and outs. He knows like it's a playstyle that he made. It's gonna be harder to recognize exactly what he's trying to do right away. I think that's what's so interesting about watching Frosty fight.
Yes, I see Frosty is exciting. He's excited. Okay, let's go.
Let's see here.
Good luck.
I think we're ready to start. Round 1, Frosty against Bean. Frosty on his usual Poison and Frost CGS setup. Bean starting off as he usually does with the, looks like off-dag Kiba. Frosty with the wiggle, doesn't quite work. Frosty does an accidental desync tech here. Unfortunate. Frosty chooses to try to tank that backswing, almost going for a backstab. It looks like Bean in the corner here, not able to space. Gets hit by that that CGS here. Frosty on the pressure. Bean is frosted. Frosty's damage is going to be much, much, much higher. But Bean is mashing out of hit stun. He simply doesn't care about anything or anybody. He is not about that life. Bean ignoring the threats of Frosty. Mashing R1 out of his stun, as Eisenwave had written many, many eras ago, and Bean ends up taking it. Remember, Eisenwave never lies. Frosty indeed with the frost. You love to see it.
Oh,
That's going to be 1-0 going for Bean.
okay. Round 2, let's go.
Frosty going help and steeple. Bean sticking to the Kiba. Starting out fairly slowly here. Run attack comes out of Frosty, covers it with the slicer, it doesn't quite land. Good trade here in Frosty's favor. The backswing comes out. Cures his Frost. Doesn't roll this, it looked like he rolled that. But I guess he didn't. The Helvet Steeple getting some good value here, winning the trades he needs to trade. Bean going for an off dagger to avoid getting hit, but he gets a little greedy and swings twice instead of once and ends up getting hit and losing his tier. Absolutely devastating. The unsheath comes out!
Whoa!
Oh my god!
Wow!
Monkey mashing out of hit stun and keeping cryo every single time. You already know how that story goes. This is going to be a round reset here. The double kill from both participants. I don't understand what's wrong with them or what's... but sometimes you get possessed by something that you can't describe with words. And that's really what it's all about.
Okay, so it's
just
round
like
3.
playstyle, bro.
Good luck!
Round 3 begins here. The physic comes out. No Crisp Blade, Ash of War. That's out of Frosty here. Almost gets punished, but now in the Terra Magica gets clipped by the dagger for a bit of chip damage. Frosty here wants to play really in the Terra Magica. Pops a Glint Blade here.
Wow!
Bean is getting hit non-stop by this greatsword. A lot of attacks that I would not expect to land simply landed here. Surprised no hit happened there though. Looked like a backswing setup. Jumping R1, clips Frosty, lands a little slicer. Ghost procs the Frost and then R1's out of it because of his lower stun. Goes for an unsheath, is now under pressure, dodges that crouch attack. Gets hit and looks like a tier proc and Frost from Bean. See the preemptive rolls from Bean, the preemptive roll-ins are really getting him hit here. Getting hit by that Greatsword R1. Doesn't try to go for pressure after that Frosty whiff, knowing the threat of the backswing is here, instead of opting to go off dagger for safer attacks, but he simply doesn't care! Not dashing out of hit stun, keeping priority every single time. But alas, despite Eisenwave's prophecy, Frosty simply doesn't care and ends up winning this round through a trade.
Okay, thank you, buddy.
Alright, let's go.
Let's go!
Go.
Go! Oh.
When the Comet comes out, Frosty with the early buff punish. Starting the match with Chilling Miss CGS. Looks like Bean is already frosted. Frosty with CGS off Fizz. I haven't seen that one. Trying to trade with Bean. Very unfortunate dagger trade here. That's the worst kind of trade you can have. whiffs the unsheath, and Frosty with the charged R2 gets an early roll from Bean and ends up getting hit. No more tier for you. Very tough situation to be in. Now, Bean has access to high burst as we have established, sorry. But it might not be enough here to trade your way out of this. Frosty is putting on so much pressure here. With
Wow.
the fist, he ends up finishing out by two-handing the fist. And finishing off the fight here. That's going to be 2-1 for Frosty. Also, maybe don't forget to update
Ranking.
the score here. It's 2-1 for Frosty right now.
Okay. I'll
Well-
update it later.
Absolutely, yes. Both physics are up. Frosty using the Chilling Mist CGS at first here. Gets a very early Frost proc, but ends up getting hit by the jumping L1. Bit of an unfortunate trade here. Bean lands 3 huge hits on Frosty.
Wow.
Frosty loses his spear. He doesn't have the health at all, but Bean simply doesn't care. He is gonna mash his way out of hit stun into victory and like
Wow.
very insanely fast round. Just like Frosty did to him the previous round, Bean pulls out the
So,
fist to quickly finish him off.
That is so
And it-
cool.
Making that a match point. That is 2-2. Bean versus Frosty.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
Place your bets. You can win, really.
Good luck.
I think both of these players are far too unhinged to care about predictions or interactions or matchups. They are going to press buttons, and they are going to press them very hard. Frosty's this time starting off with the Health and Steeple, gets away with a buff against the double Kibas. Pulling out the off fist just in case. Frosty likes to swap from one-handed to two-handed all the time here. Tries to go for those hyper armor running attacks, forcing Bean to second guess his approach. Goes for a late jump R1. Frosty thought he was out of range, but ends up getting clipped by it. Good roll from inside of Frosty. Very good unlock play from him as usual. But Bean is after that win. Good roll discipline there. He ends up with the Frost bolus. Frosty takes advantage of that and buffs up, but gets hit by another excellent jumping R1. Those jumping R1s from the Kibas are doing quite well against Frosty. Bean is being very careful with his rolls. He is not trying to get hit by that Health and Steeple. He goes for wrist, tries to unsheath out of hit stun again, gets hit and frost proc. He still has his steer, but this is a tight situation. Bad
Wow.
getting tear skipped, and that's exactly what happens.
Yeah.
The Health and Steeple are
Nice.
Good fight. Good
ends
fight.
up catching him, and the burst damage of that
Wow.
combined with the frost is enough to override his tier,
Very
causing a
Ah.
brutal tier skip. Giving
Why?
Frosty
I can
the
click the
win.
deer button.
3-2.
Now it's the finals.
Grand
Let's go,
Finals
guys.
is going to be
Good
Ron
luck.
versus Frosty. Grand Finals B09. Both physics come out. Terry Magic out on the side of Frosty. Braun sticking to the Starfist as he has been this whole tournament. He is just letting Frosty cast away stuff. He does not care. He is not interested in engaging. But from that distance, yeah, that was going to say that is a Star Shower looking to happen here. A bit of chip damage from Frosty, forcing Braun to engage, or at least play a little closer here. But he is not going to move from that mid-range. He knows how to play around Terra Magica, but unfortunately, it looks like an unlucky pivot causes him to fail the roll here against the CGS. He gets hit twice. Tries to go for some kind of turn bird with the R2, it looks like, but Frost is able to interrupt that with a running attack. NATE, you remember, there is a slight bit of latency. These two players are able to ghost each other. That's exactly what you saw happen just now. The Frost proc comes out on Bean. Frosty here looking to overwhelm him with pure burst damage. You see that normally the fists, I mean, so far this whole tournament, Braun has shown that his Starfists were out-damaging pretty much everything, but it looks like while he's frosted and while Frosty is buffed thanks to his physic, he's actually doing less damage on average than Frosty. That's a huge chunk. He wasn't even frosted. He's able to get some health back thanks to the Swaddling Cloth. Frosty swapping with 200 CGS and the fist. Braun consistently trying to interrupt Frosty's approach, what looks to be like on reaction, instead of doing like a hard read. It's getting him hit by Frosty a lot. Frosty able to consistently pull out those keep out attempts.
This is so cool. Goodbye.
Like Braun.
Yeah.
Braun keeps
Frosty
trying
is
to use these moves that would otherwise win, but the timing is just unfortunate. Like Frosty's able to actually interrupt them. It looks like he can't get the trades or interruptions he wants on reactions. But as we know, the sheer fact of CGS being present is dealing severe psychological, actually soul damage in real life to Braun. He despises hyper armor so vividly that it practically makes him lose his mind and control of his emotions. But he is still locked in. He's even more determined to beat down the hyper armor he despises so much. This is going to be a battle for the ages. Whenever you're ready, let's start round number 2. It's going to be 1-0 for Frosty. Same strategy comes in. You see the strat as Joel comes out. As I mentioned earlier, for the past rounds, the way that Braun exits the round start by running directly at his opponent instead of just buffing here is specifically a counterplay method to what Frosty tried to do here. The Comet to beat the buff did not work because Braun ran out and was able to dodge it. He instead uses the physic close to his opponent here, at a range where it's quite difficult to plan like a hit immediately. So he actually didn't get punished by that. He tries to mash R2 out of his time, doesn't work. He interrupts Frosty. Frosty tries to run out. He thought he was out of range, but it doesn't quite work. The Starfist R2 has a deceiving bit of range, especially with a little bit of latency here, as these two have. The Frost proc on Braun is applied, but Frosty isn't finding the damage he needs. Oh, never mind! He's able to find a ton of damage right away. Braun keeps going for these oddly risky plays coming from him. He really just wants to get rid of the CGS as early as possible. And finally, there you go. Hear those like good predictions, good interruptions, checks the neutral here. Eventually running Frosty over here, dealing a ton of damage in a row, able to get that momentum going, finishing up with a very good jumping R1 here, which he is very good at using those as long as I've seen him play today. Getting him a point here. It is now even 1-1.
So cool.
Wondering what we will see next. Braun going for very, unlike every other matchup I've seen today, Braun seems to be going for these risky, big plays, big swings, R2's out of hit stuns. Trying to just burn Frosty down, really conditioning Frosty to not add delays, to not go for any risks, right? Really showing the threat of the Starfist here. And it cost him the first round, but looks like he's adapted in the second round, getting him the win. Braun there, being a little too preemptive with his dash up into buff, actually gets hit by the Comet. I think that was Comet, either Comet or Chris. I couldn't really see. And it looks like he already took quite the hit. Redman Flames comes out, trying to set up some sort of interaction for the fists.
isn't quite able to get that. Frosty is not falling for it. He does get hit by the edge of that running R1. But Frosty is buffed. But the thing about Frosty's entire physical lineup here is that while he does a ton of damage, he is very clearly lacking the Opaline tier, which gives him more defense. So he's actually quite weak himself. He takes a lot of damage too. But he is making the most out of it. I mean, the damage that Braun is taking is absolutely devastating. It really rivals the damage of those Starfists, even with no defense physic active. It's actually quite interesting. It evens things out in a way like this looks more like PlayStation health pools here, the amount of damage they're dealing to each other, honestly. It's pretty interesting. Frosty going over the health and steeple gets hit by a nasty R2, which appears to break his tier. Ron going in with the crash R1 here. Now on the back foot again, he whiffs his R2, doesn't get punished. Jump R1 comes out. He just very tightly spaces Frosty's attack, and now Frosty is about to die here. One hit is all it takes. And Frosty looks like he went for a jump to try to beat some sort of ground engagement from Braun on prediction, but Braun was already on that. He likes to hedge the jumping R1 for a variety of reasons to beat, lots of keep outs, perhaps horizontal swings or attacks that hit low, and it also very clearly beats the jump startup. The Starfist hitbox in that jump attack is honestly way bigger than it looks, and it's able to shut down more options than you'd think. It's also a lot harder to space than you'd think. You saw many times in this tournament Braun going for that jump R1 and people just assuming they were out of range because it visibly looked like they were spaced out, and then he ending up eating 500 damage from that mistake. Honestly, if you see somebody do a fist jump R1, here's a general tip: please never take the risk. Don't think that you spaced it, because if you're convinced you spaced that jump R1, you didn't.
Wrong one.
It's hitting you.
Okay, thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are ready.
Okay, let's go. Good luck.
Blade physic buff again from Braun. No punish coming from the side of Frosty. He's on CGS using the Poisonous Mist this time. Wonder how he starts out. So usually he uses the Frost CGS to set up the chances for tons of burst damage. This time looks like he wants to take a more careful approach here, proccing the poison first before enabling more burst. Oh, I see what he did. Frosty no longer is using the magic attack physic. He's actually using Opaline for more defense. Looks like despite how much damage he was able to deal, it turns out he favors a playstyle that's a little more defensive in this matchup here. Very understandable given the destructive power of the Starfists from Braun. Run up here getting hit by that true combo. Backstab whiff from Braun. I think Frosty might have been able to get a punish there. Not too sure. He spaces the unspaceable jumping attack. The unlocked rolls there from Frosty might cost him, but he's just able to get away. No, he ends up eating 469 damage from the fist here. And Braun maintains this absolutely devastating momentum. Frosty is not able to get him off him. He whiffs his CGS here, is able to push him back with the backswing, but still took quite a bunch of damage. Braun is playing super. He ends up taking so many risks here. He wants to finish this fight off as quickly as possible, taking more risks than he would normally do. Still poisoned, he just keeps rushing Frosty. He knows he has to finish this very quick, so Frosty doesn't just cheese him and with the poison. Poison is out again. Frosty intends on putting status pressure on this man till the very end. Both are without tier.
one good play from either of them could lead to the momentum needed to close this fight out. They both have a Starfist readily available for a finish. It's going to be very difficult if you lose the next interaction to actually come back. Frosty going for the R2 whiff ends up not getting punished here. Very surprising.
Wow!
And
GG!
Bron barely fails to space the backswing. And
Now
ends
it's
up
even
losing.
again!
And now here we are also. Wow. Very, very even matches so far.
Yeah.
I was expecting the destructive power of just like high damage optimal Starfist. I expected that to really just beat everything. It's been beating everything so far, but Frosty is able to just apply so much pressure and like denying Bron so many of the interactions he wants because of that hyper, because of that curved greatsword, and the status as well. Like Bron completely ignored most of the status, just absolutely rushing Frosty, trying to get panics from him as much as possible. Just wasn't quite able to do it this time, and that's going to be 2-2. It's not effectively a first to 3 now, as the previous rounds were between Frosty and Bron. Very interesting match so far. When we're ready, we can start the match right here. The physics is going to come out from both participants, and a little knife from Bron, giving a bit of chip, trying to get rid of his ritual shield. Quite a clever play given the fact that Blessed Dude is banned. There's really not much you can do here. If somebody uses a knife on you and lands it, your ritual shield is gone and you have to sacrifice a bunch of your health or move into Crimson Amber the Gallery if you want to have that kind of like full health damage defense buff that is so valuable. Frosty still sticking to CGS off fist in these grand finals. Gets caught by the running attack as he tries to two-hand here. See, that's the problem. Like Frosty constantly swapping between one hand and two hand. If he wants to have hyper armor, he has to almost like telegraph his hyper armor basically by having to two-hand again. Bron has been taking advantage of this, trying to chip him a little bit as he does this, getting as much damage early on as he can. But it looks like Frosty has quite the health lead right now. Of course, nothing is over. The fists are able to dish out monstrous amounts of damage if Frosty is ever caught in a bad position. It looks like he's being very aware of where he's on the screen, making sure he... Oh no. Making sure he doesn't get pushed to the corner, but looks like Bron... It looks like after Bron got hit by that running attack, or I think it's a running attack or an R2, some attack hit him from range that I don't think he approved of. And it looks like he just went on to kind of abandon the match in a way. He just started absolutely mashing out of hit stun. Just trying to get it over with as soon as possible. He was done with that match after that happened. But despite this, it is still not over. Frosty still needs 2 more wins in order to take this tournament. Match is going to start right there. Both opponents physic. Bron immediately... Oh,
My monster here. Oh, so sorry for the rainbow stone.
I think they were both pre-buffed before actually starting, so they're going to go for a bit of like a bit of a reset right now. Nothing's wrong. Happens sometimes.
Oh, I see.
No. Okay. So my decision is that we're going again from 3-2 because you guys are not contesting the previous match. We're going again from 3-2. Just restart the fight here. Okay, good. That's fine. I'll just reset. Okay, so both opponents physic up. Frosty on CGS off fist. Bron putting some pressure. the backstab with here. Frosty not able to really get it punished. Ooh, big, nasty trade in favor of Braun here. He lands that R2 he's been trying to land for a while. Trades with, I think, that Office, which does no damage in comparison. Braun goes for his signature jump R1, gets it out of the area of the CGS attack. Clit by a long
No
range.
point down.
Again, Braun sacrifices his spacing to point down at Frosty. A very effective EU tech from Braun. That is his reaction to Hyper Armor. And also an anti-EU latency. However, being a seasoned PlayStation player, that is absolutely nothing to me. Braun pressing his advantage, buffing up his Star Fist, trying to play aggressive. He still points down again, and it actually baits Frosty into an attack, which he rolls into and then lands like a chip with the crouching, the rolling R1. Perhaps this taunting strategy is more effective than we give him credit for. Tries to go for a delay jump R1 after hitting the ground, which you honestly hardly see. Gets hit, loses his tier, then damages Frosty back. Frosty still has the tier up, a bit of an advantage, but unfortunately he eats the worst attack you can eat, the Starfist R2. Frosty manages to escape after, but not without getting a ghost hit for a Swaddling Cloth trigger on the side of Braun. Could go either way at this point. The unfortunate pivot from Braun caused him to get hit once again. He rolls in, tries to land the rolling R1, but Frosty gets away. He's now 2 NAC, just trying to scare Braun, forcing him out, forcing him to respect his ground, and preventing him from pressing the advantage he wants. Redman Flames pushes Frosty in the corner. He does not want to interact with it. He doesn't want to run the risk in any way. Now one-handing, sacrificing the Hypermer for perhaps a faster option at close range. And Frosty is going to try to finish this off with the Starfist here. Braun found himself cornered after that interaction and ran himself into a wall. Frosty then two-hands the Starfist and goes for the finish. That's going to be 4-2 for Frosty.
Frosty is playing way more careful, with more patience. I think Braun is way too greedy and is going against him.
Frankly, I was not expecting this. I was thinking like the pure damage Braun is able to secure with the Starfist, I thought would overwhelm Frosty's setups, like he overwhelmed the other setups beforehand. But it seems like that's just not the case. Frosty is really able to make a difference here. Now, to be fair, like Frosty is very good at making CGS like this thread, this like a wall you kind of have to really work your way around. I fought Frosty CGS in a tournament on PlayStation recently, and I found it quite challenging to fight. Like, even though I was playing a weapon that I believe won the matchup, he actually gave me more trouble than I expected here. So Frosty, absolutely not to be underestimated. When he's on the curved greatsword.
He's very great with movement.
Let's see if Braun can bring it back. Good luck!
That's it. Match point for Frosty. If he wins, this is going to take this entire tournament.
What?
And
Some
looks like Frosty
connection
is experiencing
problem.
some technical difficulties. A very interesting running on the spot strategy. I haven't seen that since the Heian era. That is absolutely crazy tech here. Frosty, you were supposed to save that for the Nationals. I can't believe he'd show it this early. Frosty, that is quite the tech here. Judging from the fact that the fight basically didn't happen, like we didn't have a fight before, I don't think we're gonna
take a point away or like give a win to Braun. We're gonna have to go for a reset. If that does happen again, though, we're gonna have to give a point to Braun, though. We're gonna have to give a point to Braun if that happens again.
Frosty, rejoin my world.
Like, if it happens, my policy on this is it happens so early in the match like this where it basically didn't get to start, that's fine. But if it happens in mid-match, that's gonna be like, yeah, that's gonna have to be a win for the opponent there.
Oh.
All right, match point once again. Hopefully, Frosty's is able to remain stable and. Oh my goodness! What is happening? Frosty's net is breaking down. The greater will has contacted the two fingers. The greater will told the two fingers make Frosty's ping at 10 million so it throws his tournament match.
Unlucky.
Yeah, I'm just clarifying something. So because both these
Okay.
disconnects happened like before the fights started, then we're just counting it. We're just counting it as a reset. But if it happens in mid-fight, we're gonna do round loss. That's it. We're ready. All is good. Just some
Okay.
clarifications.
Let's go.
It's match point for Frosty. 4-2. Let's play. Frosty on the poison CGS. Braun. Oh, Starfists. Gets shipped here, loses the ritual shield, removes Crimson Amber to bring it back. Oh, gets hit by an unfortunate R2 here. That's a chunk of damage you don't want to be taken away. Oh, Frosty gets hit by another huge chunk of damage. Frosty is doing practically no damage to Braun, and Braun has landed 2 huge hits, an R2 and a running jumping R1. However, Frosty's now enabled. Braun is poisoned, but he was able to get so much momentum. He is absolutely rushing Frosty, who has no tier. Braun's still poisoned, but it doesn't matter. He is able to finish him off right here. He gets the Swelling Cloth as well.
Wow.
And Frosty goes for a desperate jumping R2.
GG.
But gets whiff punished for the death here. That is going to be 3-4 for Frosty. Still for Frosty. Braun is looking to work on a comeback right now, unless Frosty is able to close this out. 1 more win for Frosty, 2 more for Braun for this tournament. Alright, still match point for Frosty, 2 more wins required for Braun. The fight begins, both participants use the physic. Braun lands the knife here to get rid of the ritual shield. Honestly, quite an effective strategy. Oh, Frosty tries to jump away, but gets split mid-air. And, because of the slight bit of latency, he wasn't able to interrupt him in time. He ends up taking the full rolling R1 for a huge chunk of damage. Frosty is on the back foot immediately. He's able to land a Frostball, but Braun mashes out of hit stun. Frosty, for some reason, wasn't able to tank both hits. Looks like he's maybe missing Bulldog. He is taking tons of damage right away. Trades with an R2. Is able to hold his ground a little bit, but it doesn't matter. Braun has so much momentum, and Frosty is not able to get him up.
Wow. Braun Brink is back.
The Braun damage is just, like, overpowering everything Frosty tried to do in these last rounds. Like, what happened? Frosty had so many tricks up his sleeve to keep up with the damage, to keep up with Braun's strategies and Braun's fists. But all of a sudden,
so exciting.
fists, the high damage fists, absolutely overpowering everything. Like the gap in reward. I always talk about reward gap, but like it's probably one of my most said sentences in like committees. I always bring it up, but it's such a huge deal. And Fists is able to be so dominant under most current rule sets because of specifically that. The fact that it's unreactable and does so much damage, even though on paper some things would beat it, some things would be very strong against it, the fact that you get a reward gap and have all these threats that deal so much damage, you're forced to respect it, that gives it momentum potential in every single matchup in this game. And that would still be true even with no restrictions. Like, Fists unrestricted are still one of the best picks, like absolutely without a doubt. It's also the answer to shield poke as well. Like, it's just such a versatile like tool, so strong.
So
and Braun is really
cool.
showing that
Good luck.
as a finisher as well, of course.
Final round.
Final rounds. Yeah.
Match point. Physic is up. This is it. Braun once again removing the ritual shield early with no Blessed Dew available. It is an extremely effective strategy. Frosty going for poison instead of frost this match, or this round rather, with off fist, playing very carefully. Of course, you do not want to start getting blended. However, he gets called out in neutral, ends up taking a half hit, and then gets hit by the jumping attack, and then ends up taking an R2. Frosty is doing so little damage, but is still able to get the poison proc off. He now, I believe, has swapped to his Frost CGS, but every time he tries to engage, when he's one-handing these CGS, the lack of hyper armor is giving Braun all the room he needs to just be as aggressive as he possibly can here, forcing the reward gap. Frosty needs to stay on the two-handed to get the hyper armor, but then loses access to the office, and Braun is just working his way around these different options so well. Frosty is not two-handing his CGS at all. He's able to call out, however, Braun in neutral here for a very nice running attack where he then disengages carefully. He tries to two-hand, but then gets hit while doing some sort of handy tech here. I guess it counts as that technically. Works in a similar way. But anyway, back to neutral here. Braun is still poisoned. Frosty one-handing his CGS here. He whiffs. Oh, Braun is able to get some damage and some momentum because of that whiff alone. All started from a crouch R1 that ended up chipping Frosty. Frosty now on the back foot, unlock rolls. He goes two-handing. His tier is gone. Now back to one hand in neutral. Braun still on the Starfist, buffing up. He does not care about the poison. He knows there's a reward gap here that he can force. Is going to be very tight here to win. The tier is gone now on both sides, but Frosty has such a huge health disadvantage. Braun is going to try to force that the best he can. Frosty somehow gets some damage and then disengages from the fist.
Wow!
And he tries to jump out after realizing his lack of space. However,
GG's!
pulls it out
GG's!
and hits
Very
him
good
with
fight!
a running
Congratulations!
Frosty gets hit in the start of his jump, but ends up dying on the ground.
Congratulations, buddy!
That's gonna be it. Tonight's winner of the helping. Congratulations.
Ow! He left as well. Congratulations. Very good fight.
The winner of tonight's Helping Hands EU and ANA Elden Ring tournament is Braun.
Thank you for the sunny face.
Very good showing, honestly, from everyone involved. In the end, it came down to fists against CGS with off fist. Frosty going for an unconventional build that's using some kind of like very low damage poison CGS to try to like set up Frost later using lots of status, but it turns out the straightforward damage, despite how well Frosty did, the straightforward pure damage, the reward gap, the pressure, the momentum of high strength Starfists was just able to overpower Frosty setups and ultimately get the W here.
Why in the summer?
Yeah, honestly, at this point, like if we can't make it work, the cam has been your opponent. Why this tourney?
No, I mean, you can just shoot the arrow and then run and climb on top. I mean,
Yeah, exactly. I don't think
well,
it's a big deal. I think people won't mind.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm so sorry.
That's all good. It happens.
What about here? This angle is better?
I'm actually not too sure about that. I would move to the left a little bit if I were you.
What if I use it on torrent?
Can you do that? I don't think you can.
I
Oh, you can. Oh, that's actually a good idea. Yeah, no, do that.
I can jump here too. Let me try this. Oh,
Nah, you can't. You can't go up there.
I tried it. I can go up there. I tried it. Let me try
Do
this.
it.
Okay.
I think it's too high.
I tried it. Yes, I did it.
Yeah, great.
Oh,
Sorry for
Okay.
doubting you.
You finally did. Don't fall off now.
I would like to stand on this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Cool.
Oh my God. Why parkour master? We have done it. We have conquered ER.
I am so
Oh,
clever.
right.
Yes, I did it.
Okay.
Yes. Good
Let's
job. You
go.
did great.
Please, Watey and Frosty, get ready.
My bad.
Eli, hello. I'm looking at this cook, Eli. Everybody's gonna look at your cook, Eli. Get ready, bro.
Ah, no.
Why did you fail?
I don't know.
Hey, man.
This one. No, why? I trapped it.
Why are you putting yourself inside blocks of concrete? That's not safe.
No,
Oh my God! You keep. Just stop going inside. There's no collision. You have to find a different pillar.
Yeah, that color has no collision indeed. Try
Ah,
another one.
why? No. No.
This
This one. Yes. Nice.
Finally, we did it. Eli, Gavril, get ready. We're about to play Elden Ring. I swear to God, bro.
The volume's a little bit. I think it's perfectly fine. You don't want music that's too loud. I think people can hear it. It provides enough noise to be like kind of ambient. I think it's fine. You don't have to make adjustments. Maybe like a tiny adjustment. Yeah, that's good enough. That's good enough.
Okay.
That's fine.
Ah, no.
Ah!
Why? I have to do it again. Ah. Don't worry. Drink some water, buddy.
Yeah.
Some water, buddy.
Yeah. Do you need a water break?
No, I'm fine.
Okay.
Get these two beasts in the arena right now. I'll commentate.
No.
Feel we need YY to get on top of that column.
Ah.
Ah.
Please, let me jump on that column. What? Yes, I did it. No. Why did you do that? Ah, no. no, it's not here. Again? I need to calm down. Okay. I can do it. Oh, yes. Yes, I did it. Whew.